Hey guys, let's talk about last night's episode of Person of Interest. And last week when I did my review, I said that if they had decided to kill Carter after her badass episode, I would have been upset, but I wouldn't be mad because the show was willing to go there after, her solving pretty much all of HR's backstory and putting Quinn away, but they didn't. And I pretty much got what I asked for at the end of this episode. And I was a little bit shocked, but I wasn't really. One of the things that I try to do when I'm enjoying a show is I try not to read spoilers. I try not to look at previews. So unfortunately, I had heard that somebody was going to die, significant in the cast was going to die at the end of this episode. And so my heart was constantly in my throat. Was Fosco the red herring? Was his kid the red herring? And of course it was. And I mean, I think that this wasn't the most shocking episode. It wasn't the most how do I say, I could pretty much predict everything that was going to happen in this episode. From the time that Fosco had that chat with his son at the beginning of the episode, you just kind of knew that they were going to use the kid as leverage later on down in the episode. The kiss between Reese and Carter, I mean, where did that come from? That's the one thing that they have never really progressed, was their romantic relationship in any way. They've always been really compatible as partners and solving crimes. So I never really got a love interest potentially down the road between these two. So when they kind of threw that out there and they had this kiss, I was like, where did that come from? So that almost had the writing on the wall, like it was the kiss of death. And, there were a few other hints, like just how much they were saying that Reese was going to die in this episode. I just knew he wasn't. But it was still a compelling episode anyway. And there were still moments where, you thought like a lot of people were going to die in this episode. So that it was still a really good story that they were telling. I enjoyed all the stuff with Shaw and Root, pretty much antagonizing Finch. And, the scene where she's like, oh, did you think that I didn't know that Reese was your first guy, that you haven't already gone through other people in the past. So, there was some really interesting stuff going on in the episode. So, once it got towards the end, I was literally still sitting there like this, like, oh my God, here it comes, here it comes. So like when the moment actually happened, I was sad. I was like, oh no, here it comes. And I was heartbroken. But I respect the fact that the writers, the showrunner, everybody behind the scenes decided to kill Carter's character off, because it does, move the story forward. It does bring some more layers to Reese's character. Did he really love her? And I don't think so, but I think that there was enough of an emotional connection for this to, really be devastating for him. And I'm not upset with the show that they did this. I actually respect them more for doing it, because she was a strong and she was a powerful character on the show, and to take her out of this scenario now just gives them more of a driving force. And I think it will open up some interesting stuff between Root and Finch, and just the way that this computer is able to throw out numbers, because obviously her number didn't come up as the one that was going to die at the end of this episode. It was Reese's. So obviously the computer even threw us a red herring. But all in all, it was a pretty good episode, considering we've had some phenomenal episodes in the past few weeks. So, to sort of close off this chapter with Carter's story, I thought they still did a really great job, even though it was a fairly predictable episode. But I thought that, having her die in the end was heartbreaking, and it closed off this arc really well for her. So I was pleased with this episode, and I give it a 2 thumbs up in terms of how the story played out for her character. And I'm sad to see her go, but I'm glad that the writers went this way. All right, guys, that's been my review of Person of Interest. I'll see you next week. Bye.